Tina Lovegreen, and you're watching City Lights on Novus TV. Today we're at the Museum of Anthropology for the opening of an exhibit called Safar. Safar is a Farsi term for voyage, and for the next 5 months, 16 artists from around the Middle East will be showcasing their work here. I'm here with Jill Baird, coordinating curator and co-editor of Safar and Voyage, and today marks a very special moment in the exhibition. It's the first time a group from the Middle East has come together in a major group and been on display. What else makes this exhibition so special?
Well, I think it's special that it's here in Vancouver, so it's a major exhibition for the Museum of Anthropology, but also I think for Vancouver, bringing artists from around the world to here to basically guide us through some, I think, really important issues today. 16 artists from various places in North Africa, the Middle East, Iran, Iraq, who are not speaking in the voices that you might be familiar with. They're bringing us personal journeys, insights into global and local issues. I think the exhibition is going to surprise people.
And so there is a certain perception of the Middle East, which we see through the media and read in the papers. How is that different than what we'll see here tonight?
Well, I think when people come and see the show and they actually start looking around, many of their very initial assumptions will be questioned. So this show is not actually about the Middle East. This is about artists' own personal journeys and their own insights into the world. So we're standing in front of this piece called Destination X. And it's by a Lebanese artist named Ayman Balbaki. And if you look at it, it's a car packed to the roof with all the household belongings and all of those things. I think the Vancouver community of people from so many other places in the world are going to emotionally get this piece right away. It's about the journey. It's about having to flee. It's about making those really difficult choices of moving from one place to the other. What do you take? What do you leave behind? And also, can you imagine if you were doing that in a conflict zone? Even how much more challenging and difficult that is. So he's asking us to think about the world and our sort of shared humanities, but also the pain and the trauma of just having your home not peaceful.
Sounds amazing. So what other pieces can you show us around here tonight?
Well, I'd like to show you one by Mitra Tribisian over here.
Great. So Jill, I actually grew up in Tehran, and so this piece stands out to me, but what is the artist trying to portray here?
Well, it is a really stunning piece. The artist's name is Mitra Tribisian, and she is indeed from Iran, but she lives and works in London, which is the case of many of these artists having transnational lives. But it's also familiar to those of us who live on the West Coast, having grown up with the Vancouver School. So artists like Jeff Wall or Ian Wallace, Roy Arden. So this kind of staged photograph. So it's a constructed story. This is not a snapshot. This is a deliberately created picture, photograph, of people whose stories are a little hard to read, but if you sort of think about the composition, they're not really looking or engaged with each other. So we have all of these people in the foreground, and they don't seem to connect with each other. The landscape, it's a little hard to read as if it's neglected, possibly, or not yet built. Is it on the edge of the city? It's actually called Tehran 2006. That's the title of the work. So even understanding that, you see in the far left-hand corner the images of the religious leaders, the ayatollahs, and it's not completely clear if they're watching over or if they're being ignored. There's some tensions in this work that I think reflect some of the existing realities of people who live in Tehran still.
So this looks like your traditional Persian rug, but it's not.
No, it isn't. But it is a traditional Persian rug. So it's made in the Tabriz style. So it is indeed a handmade, hand-knotted carpet. It's made by a woman artist. Her name's Nazgul Ansarinia. She's visiting Vancouver this weekend as part of the opening for Safar Voyage. So it's been fantastic to meet her as a person. But if you come to the exhibition, you have to look really closely. The images are not what you would see on a traditional carpet. We have Vespas, women in full chador. We have what look like bureaucrats. We have what looks like a karaoke party. So she's giving you scenes of Tehran. So in the carpet. So another view. We saw Mitra's piece, and now we have another view of the same city by a different artist. So this next piece is by an Egyptian artist who lives in Melbourne, Australia, and his name's Rafat Ishak. It's called Responses to 194 Requests for Immigration. He requested to immigrate to 194 countries, and the number 194 came from the website of the United Nations, and they list all their authorized countries. So already a political gesture, because there are countries that are not recognized by the United Nations. He made this artwork from their responses. Decorative and beautiful small paintings that have the map of the country in very pale tones, which of course is the opposite of a national flag, which is usually bold and waving above state offices and homes. And then he excerpted some of the responses. He was playing with language here as well. So they're Arabic script, but not completely readable in Arabic because it's using English, using Arabic letters for English. And he's played, so you can't really read them, but there's a few you can recognize that say no response.
Okay, yeah.
So there's a few here, and you can just see they're exactly the same. So, but I want to draw our attention to Canada.
Okay, we responded, right?
Yes, we responded by telling him to go to the website.
Oh, okay.
So there is a bit of humor here, but I think it's more about the power of nation being diminished. And also a reminder for those of us who live and travel easily across the world, how that is not the case for many people. They're denied entries to countries all the time. So it is a quiet political piece.
Well, thanks for joining us on this great exhibition. You have till September 15th to check out these beautiful pieces of art for yourself. For City Lights on Novus TV, I'm Tina Lovegreen.